back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Yes, we finally got a little color because I'm using a different camera. There you go. Not the microphone, I'm using my Nikon camera. And today, I like to list out what were my favorite films of last year. And I'm going to start with number one. A bit. Then I'll kind of just go back and how I feel and then hit to 10. But I'm going to tell you what, my favorite film right now of last year was Pearl. A24's Pearl, and I mentioned it in the video earlier that I actually saw a early screening of the film. And I was blown away by it. I love the mixture of horror and then, I wouldn't really say fantasy drama, but I like the Wizard of Oz kind of like story of you have a girl wishing to be part of some sort of bigger purpose, like a wonderland of sorts, and it has that technicolor kind of like vibe. And you see her kind of descend into despair and madness, which is actually kind of tragic and sad, but the way she handles it is uncomfortably funny and intense and intimidating. Mia Goth, which unfortunately I don't think she's going to get an Oscar nod, was probably the best or one of the best female performances of last year, and I gotta be honest, man, I actually want her to win and to be even considered nominated. I feel like it's a crime that, you know, it's not gonna be looked into. Like it's like I have never had a horror film. It's actually a long time since I had a horror film that was like completely blown me away. And I walked out of here thinking it's actually one of my favorite horror films ever made. I loved it. I loved it. I love Pearl. Like, it just came out of the blue, and I had no issues with it whatsoever. Next film on my list, probably coming at number second, would probably be The Northman, Roger Eggers. And I think this film is probably the biggest box office bombs of last year, and I'm actually kind of surprised that the film tanked. And this is a thing I tend to notice. If it's a very dark, depressing kind of movie, and the movie kind of tells you what it is, except if it's not Batman, it's probably going to tank. It's probably going to tank. Or maybe it's just a lack of interest of a Viking movie, but I can tell you this is a movie you really want to check out. Out there, the action scenes were amazing, especially the last half. Some of them are actually done in one take. A good chunk of them, actually, I don't know if, I'm trying to think back, because I only see the film once, but a good chunk of it's like done mostly in one take. And it's very intense. And I actually like that the main hero, you kind of don't really root for him, but you're kind of just witnessing his journey to extract his vengeance, because the guy is not a good person at all. But I like that they kept the brutality and the savageness of the character, and then they kind of went all out with it. The next film, probably hit number 3, is The Batman. I thought The Batman was, you know, probably the best Batman film we had so far, despite a few issues that I had with it. I love that it was long, epic, more of a investigative kind of like film that you don't normally get in Batman films, and I like the mixture of genre bend that it pays. A good homage to David Fincher films, obviously. Robert Pattinson was good at it, but I think overall the film itself, I think what really stood out to me is the direction. Matt Reeves, he did a tremendous job with the film, and it's a beautiful, best Batman film I've seen to date. Next on my list would be probably number 4, Everything Everywhere All at Once, surprisingly everybody's favorite of this year. And I love the originality. I love the ambition that the film had. Michelle Yeoh, another contender that I believe should be a front runner for best leading actress. And I forget that guy's name from you know what guy I'm talking about, the husband, who's best supporting actor, and I hope he gets some attention as well. It's a very good film. If you're looking for original ideas, this is one that you don't want to miss. Next on my list is actually Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope. I can see why this film could be divisive for a lot of his film work. I mean, he's only made 3 films, but just a lot of everybody that saw this, I can see why this film is divisive. I love what this film was trying to tell. I love the storytelling. I love the risky choices that Jordan Peele decided to make with this film, and I really, really, really appreciate the ambition that he went out with this. This was amazing. I wasn't really thrilled on the design of the monster creature reveal. It does remind me of Evangelion, which I have no complaints, but I thought the design of the creature could have been a lot more intimidating. That's just my opinion, but I love the direction of this. Next film on my list would probably be Bones and All. I thought the film had a wonderful and unique blend of horror and romance. I think it's considered, in my opinion, one of the best romance films I've ever seen, and it's really good. Next on my list is X, another film that's actually a prequel to Pearl. It's a good throwback to the slasher movies of the '70s. Next on my list would be Men, another A24 horror film, probably one of the most divisive films to come out of last year about, well, men in a weird, bizarre way. Everybody talks about the third act, and I'm gonna tell you right now that third act does leave you talking. The cinematography is great. I don't know if it's my favorite Alex Garland film. I think I prefer Annihilation than this, but I feel like Ex Machina gets talked about too much, and this might hit second among his 3 feature films that he's done. Next on my list is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I love the comedy horror genre bend there, and the movie, I think, is one of the better whodunit films that have come out recently, besides with Knives Out. And I think this is a great time at the theater. I think it's one of A24's most fun films to have at the theater if you're looking for a good, entertaining film. Next on my list is Memory, film by Liam Neeson. It's a remake, I believe, from an Italian film or a French film. It's an action thriller starring Liam Neeson. If you like Liam Neeson, if you're looking for a good action film, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to miss this. This film is thrilling. It had one of the best thrills of any action film I had last year, and I highly recommend it. Unfortunately, the film didn't do too great because of generic trends that Liam Neeson does with his movies, but I can tell you right now, don't miss this. It's a very plot-driven action movie. So there's not a lot of action, but it's a lot plot-driven, and it's something I kind of miss. It felt like a throwback to a lot of old school movies. And the next film on my list, which I think is the last film, is Triangle of Sadness. This film is extremely funny, underrated, and I think it's one of the most original comedies I've seen in a while since Birdman. This is a different 3-act kind of movie that deals a lot about classes and a lot about, basically about how we see ourselves as people, especially when it comes to money. But I can tell you what, all that money and rich and glamour is all out of the water. We're basically just regular people right next to, other people. Those are my top 10 list of films that I really enjoyed of last year. If you have a favorite that I mentioned, please comment below and let me know what you thought about the film, and let me know what is your favorite film of 2022 and favorite film of what is your favorite underrated film. I just thought there was some pretty good horror films that came out last year. God damn.